Is that working now? For some reason, my microphone, even though it said USB PMP audio device on OBS, for some reason you open up the properties and it's showing up as a, I don't know, some string of numbers and digits. Gotta love this program. Gotta love it. Changed absolutely nothing, and it still decides that it's gonna change things. Like, come on. Well, Krabs did improve, but I don't think he had a valid lap there. And so, for the first time this season, Fabian Krebs is not taking pole. Jordan Lake has taken pole, and it's unfortunate for Krebs because that would have been his pole position lap had he not invalidated it. Gotta love it. I changed absolutely nothing. In fact, the only thing I've changed is the fact that I went over to my personal overlay to stream World of Tanks earlier, and I guess that's what it was. I shut it down in a different overlay, which means the fact that, despite the fact I was using the exact same microphone, that means it has to change. So, it doesn't recognise us anymore. It's just a string of numbers and letters. 000 colon something.
30 seconds.
How do I turn off this guy's voice? Audio. How do I turn off the spotter off? There we go.
20 seconds.
Hang on, did that save? Yes. Right. I preferred not hearing him. So after that exhilarating qualifying session, very exhilarating for the people who have been watching who didn't have any audio for half of it, we get going for the sprint race. 20 minutes. Only 13 drivers on the grid, which is unfortunate. Through the horrific chicane that is finally being retired, at least in F1. And Jordan Lake on pole for the sprint. There was someone going very close to the bright red Ferrari. Don't know who that is, actually. That's Carly DeMalcolm, actually. And the race gets underway, and Krebs gets an incredible start, catches Jordan Lake completely off guard, and Andy Schultz has picked up a drive-through. I guess maybe he jumped the start, or he picked up a position before the race had actually begun. Who's that going up the inside? That's Alexei Shlovik into first place. Oh, this is Spen. Who is that? I think that's Pagnamenta. I can't tell. Maybe it was Schultz. No, it wasn't. It was Pagnamenta who has lost out. Fabian Krebs, meanwhile, fighting back on Shlovik and takes back the lead up the inside of turn 4, and he's already dispatched the AMG, though he's gone a bit wide himself at turn 5. So, lots of chaos where I don't think we're going to get Pagnamenta on the podium for a third race in a row. Jordan Lake now trying to get back past Shlovik himself. He's got the inside at turn 9. He's had a bit of a better exit, but the door being closed to the outside. Can he go up the inside? Yes, he can. Nicely done, but he's not got the exit right. And that's going to allow Slovik back past. His teammate Sandgreen behind as well. And if these two keep fighting, that's going to allow Sandgreen to get past. And Krebs just taking off into the distance because once again, ISTI 104 is not here. Oh, is that a bit of a slide for Khalid Malcolm? Almost got shunted into in the formation lap. Big Jabber has the overspeed on Schultz. Though at the moment he pulled out of the slipstream, he seemed to lose all that speed. Can he take the outside at turn 1? No, he cannot. Not though, can it turn into the inside? No, he's going to lose out to Smith here if he's not careful. And in fact, I think he just has. He's messed up the opening chicane, I guess you could call it, quite royally. Ooh, how did Angel end up back here? He didn't make a pit stop. Meanwhile, Slovik still in second place, holding up Jordan Lake, the pole sitter. 2.3 seconds separate Krebs and Slovik already. We've got more lag. That's irritating because, once again, nothing has changed. We're dropping frames for no reason. Can you stop doing that, honestly? Oh, Jordan Lake went up the inside at turn 10 whilst I was distracted with my settings, trying to get the stream to behave. And finally, the Ferrari back into P2. And another Ferrari under pressure from the Lamborghini of Baron van Bunker, also known as Pookie. Now the Huracan should be a fast car, but obviously these cars are meant to be relatively equal with each other. Ooh, that's very onto the runoff there. Very wide entry. Something's gone wrong. Hang on. More skip frames. I don't know why. I haven't done anything. We'll watch a wide angle view for now, whilst I try and sort out my technical issues. Let's close that, see if that does anything. So apologies for any issues that may be seen and the lack of commentary at the minute. Struggling with some annoying technical issues. It looks okay on the stream at the minute, so we'll go with it for now. Run with it. Oh, that's getting pretty close between Sandgreen and Slovik there. And he set the chicane. Meanwhile, the gap between positions 1 and 2 is too great, I think, for Lake to be able to make any reasonable ground. Meanwhile, we've got a Bentley chasing after a Ferrari. Can he make the move into turn 1? No, he's going to be cautious. Khalid Malcolm takes a very cautious, defensive line rather, into turn 1. Very wide entry as well. And the Bentley struggling through turn 3. Pagnamenta already back into 9th place. And Angel chasing after number 11, position 11. We're missing a few drivers. Oh, I hear something. I thought it was a collision. I guess it was just a backfire. So, potentially a backfire from Jordan Lake's Ferrari. Meanwhile, the AMG's still holding on to third place, but that might be about to end. No, not just yet. Adrian Sandgreen rather, not able to make the move into turn 10 as Pookie takes a wide line. Bit too much runoff than he would potentially really like. You know, I could swear it was, of course, and Schultz, he had that drive-through, which is why he's so far back. And I would be surprised if he was able to get any higher than P13. Sandgreen taking a wide entry once again. And the field's quite spread out at the minute. Closest battle, or battles, are between Slovic and Sandgreen, and Smith and Angel, the white Ferrari. They should be coloured in, have Red Bull colours. Under threat from the 963 inspired 911 behind. The Ferrari, oh, that's getting very close. Angel trying to hang it around the outside, but he can't just yet. But maybe he'll have it, it turns into the inside for turn 5, and can Angel do it? He has. Which is why we switched to Schultz there for a second, because I was trying to switch to Angel into the false belief that he was still behind. Oh, and that's Smith losing it through turn 7. Manages to keep the car running, but that's his fight for P12 over. Meanwhile, Pagnamenta is closing on John Bomberclat in the Bentley. Oh, there he goes a bit wide. Outbrakes himself through turn 13. Is Matt able to keep it within? Ooh, that's not gonna pay dividends, is it? 1.1 seconds at the last split. What's it going to be at the finishing line? 1.3 seconds. So he's definitely lost some time through the final sector there. Adrian Sandgreen starting to lose touch to Alexei Slovic here. The Ferrari just not able to keep up with the AMG, which is really something you didn't expect to see. Or maybe am I going to eat my words? Maybe Sandgreen was just hanging back a little bit, letting his tyres cool off before he starts to go for it again. The gap was 0.6 at the Sector 1 split. Going through turn 7 and 8 right now, and the Ferrari getting closer.
You're halfway through. Keep pushing.
I thought I turned the spotter off. You've got this annoying guy who keeps saying we're halfway through the race, keep pushing, and I can't do anything. Sandgreen took a look at the inside at turn 10. Not able to make the move just yet. Meanwhile, Bomberclat now under more intense pressure from Pagnamenta behind. Not the sole M4, one of the two M4 GT3s, and definitely the faster of the two. He closed that 1.3 second deficit down to 0.7 over this past lap, or 2 potentially. Finishing the line split, and the gap still about 0.6 of a second, grown slightly. It's basically a stagnant gap. Oh, suddenly there's been a change for P3. Alexei Slovic, I think, went wide. Oh, there's contact That's another Mercedes going off at turn 4. Adding to the 2 that went off in 2016, and Pookie waits for Slovic there. But that has just handed P3 to Adrian Sandgreen. It's a shame that battle had to end that way. Which means now these two are under threat from Bomberclat and Pagnamenta, who is even closer than before. He's going up the inside at turn 9. Can he do it? Oh, he's gone onto the curbs a bit too much, but manages to keep it out of the side of the Bentley, and Bomberclat looked like he was wiggling his car in almost in thanks. Thank you for not crashing me out. And the Bentley, big and brutal, lots of power, but the M4 I think is a better car overall. Definitely seemed to be the car of choice last season. Oh, Pagnamenta's got it all wrong at the chicane. That's going to hurt his exit. But if he can hook up the next lap, he'll be back in striking position. The gap grows from 0.3 to 0.9, so he's lost a huge amount of time due to that error. And I think Angel has got past Jabber for P10 there at some point. So it's still really the closest battle on the track. 0.3 seconds between Bomberclat and Pagnamenta now. Is Pagnamenta going to go up the inside? He is going up the inside at turn 4. Turns into the outside of turn 5. Can he make it stick? No, not quite. Actually, he can. He gets better traction and takes position 8 from the Bentley. That gets a bit wobbly, but still stays on the track. And now, the BMW can chase after, Pookie's Lamborghini. But Bomberclat is not done with Pagnamenta here. He's going to hold on to him as long as he can, see if he can retake the position. But I'm not entirely sure he can. The gap 0.5 at the last split. What will it be at the finish line split? Cross the line, and the gap is still about 0.5, so Bomberclat has kept up with Pagnamenta here. Meanwhile, the gap between Slovic and Bunker, or Pookie rather, about 1.1 seconds. What's it going to be as they cross the Sector 1 split? Still 1.1 seconds. Though the gap between Pagnamenta and Bomberclat has grown, and Bomberclat going very wide at turn 4. Looked like he potentially outbroke himself a little bit, and this is more or less his fight done. He will probably have to settle for P9 here in the sprint. We have less than 5 minutes of the session remaining, which is not a lot of time for Pagnamenta if he wants to catch up to 7th placed Lamborghini here. Laurel Fusion currently P4, chasing after Adrian Sandgreen, but I don't know if there's really enough time for anyone to make another pass. These moves, these overtakes, are often laps in the making. That's better, that's what I wanted to see. I forgot about that version of the leaderboard. Very nice indeed. So Fusion has actually closed the gap to Sand Green. I wonder if the pink Mercedes, which is not a racing point by the way, I wonder if Fusion can make the move on Sand Green here. The gap's still sort of fluctuating. Both cars going wide at the exit of turn 5. Into turn 7 now, the gap less than a second, though still fluctuating. It's gonna be a hard press to make the move at all. Less than 3 minutes of the race remain, which is essentially 2-3 laps, give or take. Oh, Fusion going very wide at turn 10. Had to take the runoff area. And the gap still gravitating around 9/10 of a second, 1 second. I think Fusion went down a gear too much and over-revved his car, which isn't going to help too much, because he did that last race, in the last week rather, and he broke his car when he shifted down to first gear through the hairpin at the Nürburgring, and suddenly found himself without any power. The gap, though, now less than a second, 0.7, it's just grown to 0.8. And Fusion having to lift off, though, of course, he has to. It's a GT car, not an F1 car, and the gap has grown back to 1.3 seconds. The Mercedes seems to be better through the corners, but not so good on the straights. This is currently the only real battle on track. It's the closest battle, but it looks like one that Fusion is losing. He has lost quite a bit of pace to the Ferrari in front, and I think that is more or less it for Fusion. There is only really 1 lap left in this race. One that Krebs was basically gifted the lead to, courtesy of Slovak, who unfortunately will finish P6. Oh, there has been a change for position further down the field. Pagnamenta got past Pookie, and I can't help but think that maybe Pookie made a mistake. He is now in 8th place. Pagnamenta, though, is not unlikely to get any higher than 7th. It's been a very good recovery from the BMW driver. But it's the race for another German manufacturer. Fabian Krebs, the sole representative of Garas Team Garas, as his teammate Christian Dorn is not here tonight. He has been, once again, completely untouchable. So that means it was going to be a very difficult time for anyone else to take back the championship lead, considering that Isti and TomTom have not taken part, even though they are on the list. Number 998, Pagnamenta, still under threat from Pookie, but I think that is more or less it. The number 112, actually, getting pretty close to Jabber. That's going to be something to watch. Can Jabber hold on to 11th place here? I don't think it's going to give him many points, if any, but he's going to want to hold on to 11th, if only for dignity's sake. As Fabian Krebs is about to cross the finishing line, and he wins the sprint race. Meanwhile, I think the 23 has potentially had a mistake. He's under severe threat from Fusion, but it's not going to be enough. Fusion has to settle for a very close P3 there. Not so close for some of the other drivers. Jabber, though, still holding on to P11. Smith is doing everything he can, including sort of cutting turn 11 there. And I think Jabber is going to hold on to 12th here. Just 2 more corners to go for the Mercedes. A flashing of the lights from the Ferrari, that's a more or less conceding defeat. Jabber holds on to 11th. Especially as it was a much better lap from Smith there. Now, I'm going to... Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm not sold on doing this. Where is it? That's the one. Add source. Right. So... Oh, that's too big. Right, so...
Green light. Go, go, go.
Qualifying begins for the feature race now. Fabian Krebs, first man out on track, but meanwhile... What do you guys think of that? It's something like Weiss used to do in one of my old leagues. Tell me if you think that's a good idea or not. It's a face reveal. Sort of. But I am not Hutch TV, I am still Guns. Remember that. But let me know if you want to get rid of that. I'm okay with doing that. But right now, we'll stick with it and see how things go. Oh, what's going on? There we go. Apparently, come on, there we go. Right, so. Fabian Krebs on what is his outlap. So we shall bring up the basic HUD. What is that? Get rid of that, please. There you go. So the 8-minute qualifying session, Krebs weaving a little bit to get some heat into his tyres. Through the chicane. And Krebs will momentarily start his flying lap. Have we got more issues? Yes, we do. We've had a couple more frame drops because performance mode. I keep turning it off rather, and keep then forgetting to turn it back on. So Krebs should set the benchmark here, and it's going to be a bloody difficult benchmark to beat. If you're wondering why I'm looking down there, that is where my chat is. It's on the phone. Right there. So Krebs, meanwhile, 5 minutes of the session remain, and actually Krebs is not going to set the benchmark here. I think Pookie is going to. No, Pookie won't. It's going to go to Pagdamenta, who is currently the first man on track who's actually going to set a lap time here, because Krebs invalidated his lap. That's what the red numbers in the top left corner mean, and Krebs probably not going to be kicking himself so hard. It's just Assetto Corsa. It's not like F1 where one lap is all that really counts. So Pagdamenta into turn 13, and the final chicane that has to go away eventually. Erase it from existence. I might be about to sneeze. 4 minutes, 10 seconds left as Pagdamenta sets the benchmark at a 1:45.845. Was able to not sneeze. Come on. What is going on? Still having skipped frames, though not many. Why is that happening? I don't know. Anyway, Pagdamenta. He should have. No. Well, he did have the what's it called? I don't remember the name. The benchmark, that's the word. He did have that for a while, but then Jordan Lake took it away, and he is right behind Level Fusion. Krebs, meanwhile, is coming through turn 11 right now, looking to set a proper lap time. This, number 111, that's Khalid Malcolm having a moment at the chicane. That could ruin Krebs' lap here. What's going on? I'd like the HUD back, please. There we go. 2.2 seconds up. On previous best, this might be a 1:43. No, it's not. It's a 1:45.2, and it's actually almost an entire second behind Jordan Lake. He still has 2 minutes and 20 seconds to set a better lap time. Pookie, meanwhile, 2.2 seconds behind Jordan Lake in currently pole position, although that's not going to be a lap that counts. Pagdamenta already a 10th up through the first corner. Angel can't be exactly matching his time. His last lap was 3 minutes. Maybe this might be his first lap. Oh, Fusion's just invalidated his lap. We're having more stream drops. That's actually not the most useful, is it? The positioning of the camera. Let me just fiddle around with that. But then you can see the mess that's in... Never mind. I can still turn it off. No one's told me to turn it off. Or asked to have it turned off. Adrian Sandgreen, meanwhile, currently 7th place. Though he didn't have a lap time on the board. He's 8 tenths up on his previous, which was a 1:44.5. But if we go back to Krebs, he has improved by 5 tenths of a second. This will be his last attempt at a flying lap. There's 40 seconds of the session remaining. His current best lap time is a 1:44.7. Where is Jordan Lake, though? He is 9 tenths down. But this will also be his final attempt at a lap. The same with his teammate. Oh no, Adrian Sandgreen is aborting. Level Fusion going to finally get a lap time on the board Well, he hopes he will. Who is that? That is Schultz. He is retiring. Bomberclat way down. Khalid Malcolm way down. The session is now over. Fabian Krebs. Oh, he's achingly close to 0.4 of a second. But just not close enough. 0.35 faster on this lap. As we get more dropped frames. Can he make it? Oh, he's gaining some time through turn 10. But it's still going to be achingly close. In fact, I think he's lost a bit of time through turn 12. He has to make up the time now through the final chicane. He might just about do it here. It's going to be extremely close, though. This doesn't appear to be his strongest track. I don't think he's going to do it. It might be very close indeed. It is 0.035, but not enough to put him on pole. Where's Pagdamenta gone? Pagdamenta does not improve. Or maybe he did. It wasn't telling me properly. Now Level Fusion is also going to finally get a lap time on the board, though it doesn't look like it's been an amazing one. And he at least does get into P5 at the death of the session. So there we go. Qualifying 2 is over, and then we go into the 40-minute feature race. And once again, let me know what you think of the camera. It's just experimental. I can get rid of it. It's no shade on me. I don't care. Doesn't matter. If you prefer the pure experience, that's fine. FPS on the... That is probably why we're dropping frames. So let me just... edit it a bit. It's showing fast on the window. Okay, I will lower the resolution of it to 720. It's very small now. Make it a bit bigger.
Seconds.
It's looking fine on the preview window. I've lowered the quality of it, so it should be better.
10 seconds.
Oh, and one last thing. Bring that back up. Performance mode back on. Let's get into this for the final race of tonight. Jordan Lake will once again lead the... What is there, a 12-car field? We have lost someone. I don't remember who is missing. It looks like Shlovik is the one who is missing. And Krebs... No, sorry, Jordan Lake, hoping that he doesn't get caught out by Krebs again, is going to be keeping an eye on that Porsche 911. Is it blurry again? The entire thing is blurry. As we get green lights for the final race of tonight. And Jordan Lake might be jumped again. His car is slower in a straight line than the Porsche. And in fact, that's Pagdamenta going up the inside, and he gets both of them. Though that's going to turn into the inside at turn 2 for Krebs. Oh, Jordan Lake getting very wobbly through turn 3 there. Meanwhile, I think I am going to turn the camera off because that could be what's causing some issues. I'm not doing anything else different. So let's turn that off, and maybe our issues will be resolved. Don't know why it's been having these issues with this little course lately. It didn't have them before. Meanwhile, who is that going onto the grass? That was Pagmenta going a bit onto the runoff. And now Level Fusion fighting tooth and nail with Jordan Lake, and Pookie might get the pair of them. Where is that? Lamborghini has the outside for turn 10, and it's 3 wide. He has to go into the runoff area, but he does take Adrian Sandgreen. Hey? I thought that was Jordan Lake. It's been a horrific start for the pole sitter, who is now in... not P6, that can't be. It's just the game being... it's P5. So Fusion in P3 as we get more stream dropping, frame dropping. Flashing lights from Pookie's Lamborghini. Can he take a podium position here into turn 1? No, he cannot. There's actually been a crash at the final corner. Bomberclat and Khalid Malcolm seem to have come to blows and now are in 11th and 12th place. Fabian Krebs once again in the lead. A lead that he is almost certainly not going to relinquish. How boring. I petition that Krebs have to... what did they do with Ferrari back in 2005? That he's not allowed to change his tyres. Wait, no one changes their tyres. Shit. I don't know. Oh! Once again, 3-wide battle into turn 9, and Jordan Lake back into the podium positions. This guy is unstoppable, sort of. Meanwhile, Fusion going side by side with Pookie, who has to go into the runoff area again, and this time it's to his detriment, because that means Fusion able to get back past. I've used up all my energy in the sprint race. I don't have enough voice box energy left for 36 more minutes. Ugh. I need to wet the whistle. We're getting more frame drops for no reason whatsoever. Helicopter. You are my friend, right? Let's see. I can't change anything whilst the stream is going. So we're a bit stuck here. I simply can't change anything. So it's not my fault that the program keeps skipping frames. Is there anything I can do? Maybe. I've tried closing a bunch of things. Right. Gonna briefly make myself a drink. It's a good thing I brought the orange squash up here with me so I could make it without having to leave the microphone. But if it was F1, maybe it would be maybe that would have been a good thing, because I could have just left right now and nothing would have happened. Oh, I say that, I think I just spoke too soon, because Adrian Sandgreen had a much better exit than Pookie did through the final corner. Does he have the run on him? No, the car's equally matched in terms of speed. And the Ferrari does not have the brakes to take the inside of turn 1. Ah, bollocks. Spilled a little bit of my drink. Not a huge amount, I think I'll be fine. Ah, that's irritating. I hate spilling things. Why can't things just not spill? Right, well, drink made and we can watch this gripping race. And let's see. Currently, about 0.5 of a second between Angel and Luca Schmidt. The Ferrari, very close. He's got a rain light blinking. It can't be raining shortly. Shortly? Surely. That's the word I was looking for. Oh, wrong button. I wonder if it's intentional as he tries to dive bomb Angel through the chicane. Doesn't work out for him, which is kind of expected. And loses out a couple of tenths through the final corner. In fact, he's 2 seconds slower on that lap. So I think Angel got past him at some point. Meanwhile, Pookie, very close to Jordan Lake. Currently P4. Looks like Jordan did get past the Lamborghini at some point. And expertly planting that Ferrari in the middle of the road, making it very difficult for the Lamborghini to potentially make the move up the inside. Going almost a bit too deep into turn 4. I thought there was another battle brewing behind, but that's Schmidt falling ever further behind the Porsche 911. Once again, Pookie taking a slightly... Oh, there's a very interesting line from Sandgreen. And Pookie, the filling in a Ferrari sandwich. The two RX Biscuit racing cars. Could you call this a bourbon biscuit? Bourbon cream, which is not to be mistaken with alcoholic beverage. I mean the chocolate biscuit. Very close lap times between Pookie and Sandgreen, but Jordan Lake actually 0.3 quicker than Pookie was on that particular lap. So he's gradually closing on Lero Fusion for P3 here. Currently, this is the only real battle on track. The fight for P3. 4 cars in reasonably close proximity. And Adrian Sandgreen. I wonder, who's closer? Jordan Lake, 1.2 seconds to Fusion, 1.1 to Pookie, 0.3, 0.4 or so of a second between Sandgreen and Pookie. And Pookie has not had a great exit from turn 9, and I think that is the Ferrari going to get past, trying to cut off the Lamborghini, and he has to go wide, concede the place to the Huracan once again. Did his best, wasn't quite enough on this occasion. as they go into the chicane once again. One more time, with 29 minutes of the race remaining. Oh, both going wide. Who is that going to hurt? I would imagine it would hurt Sandgreen a bit more, since Pookie has four-wheel drive, but Pookie is still punching the hole through the air for both cars to travel in, and I think Sandgreen has the position. It took him long enough. Adrian Sandgreen takes P5, but it's not over yet. Pookie, getting very close to the diffuser, going up the inside through turn 3, but has to concede shortly after turn 3. Can the Huracan hold on to the Ferrari? One would hope so, otherwise we might get another boring race. And that gap is beginning to grow. Whilst the gap between Jordan Lake and Level Fusion is still about 1.1 to 1.2 seconds. There was also a little bit of time through turn 11 there. We might be seeing a battle for last place at some point. Though, interestingly here, Pagnamenta had a very good lap there. 146.107. He practically matched Krebs. In fact, he was actually slightly faster. Never mind, he's just thrown it away. Didn't throw it away completely, but he had a tank slapper at turn 2, and that's going to cost him dearly. 3.3 seconds. The gap has... It was growing. Not growing. Shrinking. It's now grown substantially as Andy Schultz gets past Khalid Malcolm for P9 on the main straight. Though Malcolm still fighting it back. The Ferrari. Not the worst car here. But neither is the M4. Big Jabber into the pits for some reason. Unfortunately, you can't tell what the reason is. Maybe he's got a puncture, maybe he's got damage. No idea. Sandgreen has dropped Pookie by a good margin. I'd say that this battle for P5 is over. The battle for P9 is not. Khalid Malcolm holding on to Andy Schultz. That bright red Ferrari not willing to give up the 9th place just yet. Say turn 1 would be the best opportunity for Malcolm to retake the position. But if these two keep fighting, then that's going to allow Bomberclat to catch up. And no, there hasn't been a retirement. That's just Jabber still in the pits, who is now being lapped by the entire field. Malcolm in the slipstream. He took a little look through the straight. Can he take it up the inside? Very close. Manages to keep it out of the... Oh. What's that? What's Schultz doing here? He lets the Ferrari pass. Though the Ferrari immediately tries to give it back to him by having a tank slapper. These two fighting tooth and nail for what is going to be minuscule points at best. Meanwhile, the fight for third place is hotting up a bit. Jordan Lake within a second of Laurel Fusion now. The Biscuit racing car getting closer to the BWT Mercedes with 24 minutes of the race remaining. Now the question is, who's going to have the better lap? Fabian Krebs 148.0. Ooh! Bad lap for Krebs. Pagnamenta 2 seconds quicker. Could Pagnamenta take a race victory away from Krebs here, as Jordan Lake 2 tenths quicker than Fusion was. Angel actually going faster than Pookie. So Angel, if he keeps up this pace, could take 6th place from the Huracan. Meanwhile, Jabba still in the pits. He must have some severe damage if he is still there. Meanwhile, we might be seeing a fight for the lead on here in just a few laps' time, as long as Pagnamenta manages to keep his car under control. The gap has shrunk to 2.1 seconds. Krebs, who's been pretty much alone for 3 out of 3 races in this season, is now actually starting to feel a bit of pressure. For the first time this season, we might have a proper battle for the lead. 1.8 seconds briefly. And I wonder if Krebs might have some tyre degradation going on, or if he's just... I'm struggling to figure out where Krebs could be going wrong here. What is the gap now? 1.4? 1.3? That gap is shrinking quite rapidly. What is the difference in lap time as they cross the line? 146.6, 9 tenths quicker for the BMW. This is starting to get very spicy indeed. Can Pagnamenta take away what would be well, Krebs has had a hat-trick of victories this season. I don't know what you call 4 wins in a row, aside from, well, 4 wins in a row. But Pagnamenta aiming to become the first to break Krebs' streak. And I say, please, we need some differences, though he's going a bit too wide at turn 4. He's lost a bit of time. Not a huge amount, though. And he's able to keep it going. The battle for P3 is still pretty stagnant. I think Jordan Lake has lost a little bit of time to Fusion. And there looks like there might be a bit of a fight going on with car number 21. Yes, Andy Schultz has been dropped by Khalid Malcolm after being repassed a couple of laps ago. Now John Bomberclatch is catching up. It might take what I believe would be the final points paying position away from Andy Schultz. Whilst Jabber still in the pits, I think that's it. He is unlikely to come out. As Pagnamenta well within a second of Krebs now. Still faster than Krebs. Not by a huge amount on that occasion, but Pagnamenta gonna try and go up the inside of turn 1. He does! He takes position 1 reasonably easily, though Krebs sending it back up the inside of turn 3.
Keep it up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Spotter. I don't give a care. So Krebs manages to retake P1. But this is gonna not be as clear-cut a victory for Krebs. He's gonna have to actually fight for it now. Thank you, Mr. Nicolo Pagnamenta, for giving us a bit of action. We need to see how this turns out. We can't let Krebs win all the races this season. Someone has to bring the fight to him. And Pagdamenta, who was pretty much nowhere in the Nürburgring rounds, is now getting a bit further away from Krebs, thanks to going a bit wide at turn 9. I don't know which route into turn 10 was better. Krebs sort of cut in early, whilst Pagdamenta took a much later line, braked in a straight line, and Angel getting very close to Pookie. Oh, it's getting very close between these two, though. The gap is almost a fingernail. Oh no, it's gone all wrong for Pagdamenta, though. He gets a massive snap of oversteer at the final corner, and now that's going to allow Level Fusion, who has dropped Jordan Lake by quite a bit actually, to now threaten Pagdamenta. That is really unfortunate. We had what was going to be a very nice battle, and then it all went wrong. Meanwhile, we've got the Porsche 911/963 lookalike trying to get past a Lamborghini that identifies as a Mazda. Considering that mistake, Pagdamenta has not lost a huge amount of time to Krebs, and he may yet be able to challenge the Porsche 911 at the front of the field. We haven't had a frame drops for a little while. What can Angel do against Pookie, though? Through turn 9, and Pookie definitely looks a little bit slower through the sharp right turn. Right-hander. But he definitely makes up for it in traction. Oh, though he gets a tank slap at turn 10. Angel, though, had to lift off as the car in front was simply at the wrong angle. We might have another battle for position 1 going on. Pagdamenta within 1.2 seconds of Fabian Krebs. 148. Oh, he's had another better lap than Krebs. Jordan Lake, not Fusion, I think, has actually had a better lap than the pair of them. I think. So Fusion now fighting for the lead here. I don't know what's going on for Fabian Krebs, but things are not going so well for him. They're just not going so swimmingly. What was a comfortable lead in the previous race was a comfortable lead at both races in the previous round at the Nürburgring. Oh, Krebs actually going a little bit wide there. There may be just a different racing line, but Pagdamenta much closer than he has been before. He's going to send it up the inside at turn 6. Yes, no, 7 maybe. No, it's gone all wrong. Fusion has jumped Krebs. He's now fighting side by side with Fusion. With getting all the names mixed up. It's 3 wide. Fusion is in the lead though, after taking it through turn 9, but he's outbraked himself at turn 10, and that's not what you want at all. He's back into 3rd place. And through all that means Pagdamenta is in for. This is brilliant stuff. This is what I've been looking for. Jordan Lake now catching on to the tail end of this fight. This could still go any which way. There are 15 minutes of the session remaining. Krebs in the slipstream of the BMW that leads the way. Pagdamenta currently holds on to position 1. He had the faster lap than Krebs, but can Krebs take it through turn 1? No, he cannot. Can Fusion take it through turn 2? No, he cannot. And I think this is the moment that Krebs has lost the lead, and we should hopefully see our first winner of the season, who is not Fabian Krebs. What a battle we've had. And then, as that's been happening, Angel has been dropped by Pookie a little bit. He's still close to the Lamborghini, but not as close as he was a few laps ago. There's also still that massive fight between the number 21 and the number 5. Who is the number 21 again? That is Andy Schultz. Very close battle with John Bomberclat for what is going to be 10th place. They've been battling for a little while, whilst Krebs still fighting with Pagnamenta here. He is desperate to retake the lead of this race. He wants that victory pretty damn desperately. He wants as clean a sweep as he can get. He's second once again, and I think Fusion is being dropped a little bit. He's under threat from Jordan Lake for 3rd place, but these 4 drivers still very close. Can Krebs get the better exit? The gap, very close indeed, neck and neck between Pagnamenta and Krebs. What can the Porsche do? Can he take P1 through the outside? He can! Krebs, once again, into the lead of the feature race with 13 minutes to go. All that has happened in just 2-3 minutes. I was hoping we'd see some action. We're finally getting some action. There's Jordan Lake making a massive mistake. He tried to get past Fusion. He went onto the gravel. He's still in P4. Oh, a slide for Fabian Krebs. That's going to not quite open the door for Pagnamenta, but it's going to enable him to get closer. This is still going to go down to the wire if Krebs has anything to say about it. That's the wrong camera. Come on. Bring us some extra action. 12 minutes to go. And once again, you can see the difference of braking lines. Krebs taking... Oh, Pagnamenta not getting the best exit, though. Krebs is going wide. Krebs is off. And once again, things... The positions are changing. Fusion now into P2. Krebs, his tyres are going to be absolutely nulled up with cack and gravel. And now Pagnamenta can fly off into the distance like Krebs was at the previous race. And what was a 4-way battle might just turn into a 5-way battle. Adrian Sandgreen, the 2 biscuit cars, now in the top 5. Currently, positions 4 and 5 as they've got a cola can trying to mess up the ISS Enterprise. And yes, I did say ISS, it's the Terran Empire version, though it's having an identity crisis because it says USS in the hull. So that's irritating. Oh. So, Fusion now providing Pagnamenta a bit of a buffer. I didn't catch what the lap times were for the previous lap. We'll get a decent look. Well, we'll get another look at the lap times in just about a minute's time, give or take. Maybe more like 40 seconds. As there are just over 10 seconds of the feature race remaining, and now you can see Pagnamenta taking the different line that Krebs was taking into turn 10, as I may have just picked up the hiccups. Meanwhile, Angel actually closing on Pookie again. So that's not really the massive battle we ought to be watching. We'll see what these these 3 German giants can do. It's BMW versus Mercedes versus Porsche, and the Porsche seems to have had a much better launch out of turn 15. Oh, the number 7 Angel has had a spin or something has happened to him at the chicane. Can Fusion hold on to P2 here? He can for the time being. But that Porsche is looking incredibly imposing in that rear view mirror. The AMG seems to have a great bit of power to it. It's able to hold on. It's also got a fair amount of downforce, but so do all of these cars. Very equally matched. The only thing that's not equal is the driver's skill. And Fusion doing an incredible job to keep Krebs behind, who despite going off at turn 12 is still fighting tooth and nail for a podium position here, as Fusion I think just short-shifted his car just one gear or two. Ooh, the number 111 Khalid Malcolm into the pits. Oh, that's getting close. Thought Krebs was gonna smash into the back of the pink Mercedes there. Didn't work out like that in the end, as Sandgreen looks like he might be fighting more. Whoa, no, I think there's been contact! And that turns into a biscuit team 2-3. Fusion got punted by Krebs, who is now being passed by Pookie. So our race leader is now in 6th place. This is going to do massive damage to his championship chances. The feature race almost certainly gives the most points. He won the sprint race, so that's going to help him in the short term. But now that he's only 6, he has to try and get past Pookie, which probably isn't going to be the most difficult thing in the world. I mean, Krebs, that's not any shade on Pookie's skill at all. He's just been in a completely different league as Krebs. And I struggle to find how Pookie could realistically keep the Porsche behind. Meanwhile, the fight for the podium places is now going to be between Jordan Lake and Adrian Sandgreen, the 2 ARX Biscuit Racing Team cars. Ferrari 296s, the number 24 of Jordan Lake leads the number 23 of Adrian Sandgreen. And now it's going to turn into a bit of a battle between these two. Who is going to lead? Have they got an agreement? Did Jordan Lake... hang on, let me get this a bit more straight. Is Jordan Lake going to be allowed to finish ahead of Sandgreen because he qualified ahead? Or is Sandgreen going to fight? Regardless of any agreement, well, he's pretty close. Pretty close indeed. I do wonder if they're going to fight about it. Paglamenta not dropping the 2 Ferraris by any massive amounts of time. And I think Jordan might be the quicker driver here. 146.7, 146.8 for Sandgreen. Fusion nicely ahead. The gap between Pookie and Krebs is falling, though Pookie was only 0.3 slower than Krebs, with less than 6 minutes of the session remaining. It just depends when the checkered flag falls, when the final lap happens. There's still, though, a good 3-4 laps left as Krebs going very wide. Not hugely wide, though, and he's still within a second of the Lamborghini. He's going to want to try and keep his mistakes to a minimum. It's the same with Pookie. He's going to want to drive to the best of his abilities. I forget who it was that said we're on a controller. I think it's Sherlock who was on a controller. Sherlock not here tonight. But Pookie definitely under threat from a long-time race leader, now only 6th, but fighting for 5th. And Fusion is just up the road, still could get 4th place, as Adrian Sandgreen has just passed Jordan Lake. Yes, Jordan, I think, has had a mistake somewhere. He's now under threat from Lero Fusion. This Biscuit 2-3 could still be turned asunder, ripped asunder. It's definitely been a mistake from Jordan there, as Pookie, his valiant defense of P5, I think, is about to come to an end. The Lamborghini doesn't appear to be as fast in a straight line as the Porsche. He has to brake earlier too, and that is Krebs up into 5th place. Valiant effort from Pookie, but in the end, it's just not enough. He's going to do what he can to try and hold on at least. But I think he definitely knows that his race is not with Krebs. Three and a half minutes remain. That is about a little bit over 2 laps, actually. So I think there's 2 laps of this race remaining. Should be, anyway. Pagdamenta is almost certainly going to win the feature race. Adrian Sandgreen 3.2 seconds behind. 4.4 seconds behind him is his teammate, who is under serious threat from Lero Fusion now. But behind Fusion is the rampaging 911, the Grass team of Fabian Krebs, trying to get back up the field to try and take back a few more points. 6th place would have netted him maybe only 8 points if this was F1. Oh, Pookie goes wide. He's not gonna. Oh, he gets a drive through too. Disaster for Pookie, who, by courtesy of going wide just one too many times, has picked up a drive through. And in fact, I think he's gonna call it. He's gonna abort his race. Yep, he quits. That's his race over. That drive-through would have meant that he would have not got anything out of it anyway, I think. Because the remaining points-paying positions are all within that drive-through margin. Meanwhile, Bomberclat actually got ahead of Andy Schultz in the end. So whilst we were focusing on the leading pack, the points-paying positions have changed as well. Bomberclat and Schultz have swapped positions. Jordan Lake has been dropping Fusion, and now Fusion has to hold on against Fabian Krebs. It's going to be a difficult one for the pink Mercedes to do. With a minute and 10 seconds of the session remaining, this is almost certainly the penultimate lap of the race. And now it's all on Fusion to hold on to P4 here. Krebs, an incredibly fast driver, and he's right behind that Mercedes. And I think Krebs has had a better exit than Fusion, but the power of the Mercedes may help him here, though Krebs has the slipstream. He pulls out to try and make the move into turn 1. Can he make it? He's going for it, but he has to brake a bit too soon than he would like it, though. It turns to the inside for turn 3. Fusion, it went all wrong at turn 2, and Krebs, rather, gets back into P4, which is probably the best that he could salvage here. There is no time for Krebs to catch and pass Jordan Lake, which is going to put the two, oh, what's it called? The two Biscuit Team Ferraris, I think, into a nice position in the championship. Krebs going to do his best to chase Jordan Lake down. This is not over. He may not... an opportunistic move into turn 10 may not be below him here. He's going to do everything he can. Will he try and take Jordan Lake up the inside? It did look like he was going to try. Oh, it might actually work out into turn 11. Jordan Lake, though, is going to have the inside. Oh, and there's contact between the two. It probably wasn't going to work out. Krebs going to try and take the inside for turn 13. There's more contact. This is not British touring cars, my friends. Oh, and there's more contact. Krebs has to cut the track. That he cannot keep that position. He just cut the track, gained the advantage. Krebs will finish P3 on the road, but there is no way he can keep P3 after that finish. He cut the track, gained the advantage. I think more than likely that is going to be Jordan Lake on the final step of the podium there. So Krebs had the fastest lap of the race. Jordan Lake almost certainly going to take P4. There's no way the FAI can keep that stand. Will let that stand. Bomberclat, under threat from Khalid Malcolm. No, there's Khalid Malcolm, who is a few laps down, pretending it's a bit of a race. Bomberclat takes P8 after the retirement of Pookie. Andy Schultz going to finish P9. So that's the provisional finishing order. Pookie actually what? Oh, Pookie finishes P10 because he was actually a few laps ahead of Khalid Malcolm. Somehow. Even with the drive-through. So let's see what that turns into. Because I highly doubt that Krebs is going to keep that race, Vic, that P3. Right. Turn off the audio there. And bring up something. We'll bring that back up. So Biscuit Racing was only 7th in the standings with 13 points. That should move them up quite a nice amount, I reckon. As Pagdamenta took P1 in the feature race. I don't know how many points you get for each race, though. Probably not a huge amount. Let's see. What are people saying about that race? Nothing yet. Nothing yet. At least nothing that I can see. Yeah. Yeah, Fusion, not happy with Krebs. I think he felt he deserved it a bit, so it could be that Krebs might get a bit more than just having P3 taken away from him. He might also get a penalty for that. Potentially, though. We'll just have to see. In the meantime, though, I think we will call it that. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week for round 3 at the Mount Panorama circuit also known as Bathurst, on the 28th, no, 26th, isn't it? Yes, 26th of May, rather. So I'll see you then, 7 PM UK time. Until next time, have a good one, folks, and good night.